My name is Vera Collins. I'm 28 now. This story begins 13 years ago, on a night I still remember too clearly. It was October, the kind of storm that rattles windows and makes the world feel unstable. I was 15, standing in our living room, soaked in tension long before I was soaked in rain. That was the night my father looked straight at me and said words no child should ever hear. Get out. I don't need a daughter like you. No hesitation, no doubt, just final. And the worst part? He believed he was right. It all started with a lie. Not a misunderstanding, not a rumor twisted by time, a deliberate lie told by my younger sister. Lily, she knew exactly what she was doing, and more importantly, she knew our parents would believe her. They always did. 3 hours later, I was lying in a hospital bed after being hit by a car, but that part came later. That night, I stood outside in the rain with nowhere to go, trying to understand how my life had fallen apart so quickly. If I'm honest, it didn't start that night. It started years earlier, in our house. Lily's tears always carried more weight than my achievements. When I was 11, I won first place at a regional science fair. It was the first time I had ever beaten students from other schools, and I was proud in a way that made my chest feel too small to hold it. I ran home with a ribbon clutched in my hand. I won. I shouted the moment I stepped inside. My mom smiled, hugged me briefly, and for a second, thought she might actually listen. Then Lily walked in crying. I messed up my dance turn. She sobbed. Everyone laughed at me. And just like that, I disappeared. My mom turned away from me and wrapped Lily in her arms. Whispering comfort, I stood there holding my ribbon. No one asked to see it. That moment wasn't unique. It was normal. Lily needed more attention. Lily was sensitive. Lily mattered more. So I learned something early. Be quiet, be easy, be less. By the time I turned 14, I'd stopped sharing my report cards. Straight A's didn't compete with Lily's emotional storms. When I earned a full scholarship to a summer science program, I thought maybe this time would be different. It wasn't. She shouldn't go, Lily cried. It's not fair. That was enough. Maybe you can skip it this year, my mom suggested gently, so I did. Because in our house, being the good one meant giving things up. Over and over again. Back then, I thought I could survive it. I told myself I just needed to last until I left for college, 2 more years. That's all. I really believed I could make it. I was wrong by the time I turned 15. I had already learned the safest way to exist in our house. Stay quiet, avoid conflict, and never expect to be believed. It didn't make things better, but it made them calmer, at least on the surface. Lily's behavior had started shifting long before that stormy night. At first, it was small things easy to ignore if you wanted peace badly enough. She would take my belongings without asking. A sweater I had saved for months to buy, my notebooks, even small things like earrings or pens. When I gently asked her about it, she would deny everything instantly. I didn't take it, even if the item was sitting right there in her room. If I pointed that out, my mom would sigh from across the house. Vera, don't start problems. So eventually, I stopped asking. It wasn't worth it then. One day, something changed. Money went missing. $50 from my mom's wallet. It might not sound like much, but in our house it turned into a full investigation. That evening, we were all called into the living room like something serious had happened. I know it was here this morning, our mom said, holding her purse tightly before anyone could say anything else. Lily spoke. I saw Vera near it before school. My heart dropped. I hadn't even been home that morning. I had left early to study for a chemistry quiz, but it didn't matter. The moment she said my name, the room shifted. That night, my dad called me into his study. He closed the door. Did you take the money? He asked. No. His eyes hardened. Lily says you did. She's lying. That was the wrong thing to say. His expression changed instantly. Don't accuse your sister. It didn't take it. I repeated, my voice shaking now. He didn't ask anything else. Didn't check. Didn't question. Didn't hesitate. I'm disappointed in you. Vera, that was it. Case closed. I lost my phone for a month and the chance to apply for another academic program that summer. Disappeared with it. We can't trust you. Right now, my mom said calmly. Trust.a. Word that never seemed to apply to me. That night, as I walked past the staircase, I saw Lily standing there watching. When our parents weren't looking, she smiled, not a playful smile, not a guilty one, a satisfied one. That was the moment I understood something important. This wasn't a mistake. It was a test, and she had just learned she could get away with it after that. Things escalated. A broken vase. My fault. A bad grade she didn't study for. Somehow my responsibility. Rumors at school. Apparently I started them. Every situation followed the same pattern, Lily cried. They believed her. I paid for it, eventually. I stopped defending myself, not because I agreed, but because it didn't matter. No one was listening anyway. I became invisible unless something went wrong, and when something did, I was always the easiest answer. By then, home didn't feel like home anymore. It felt like a place I had to survive, so I started staying away as much as possible. I spent longer hours at school, studied in the library, helped teachers after class. Anywhere felt better than being there. I kept telling myself the same thing. Just 2 more years. Just hold on, just survive. But the truth is, things don't always fall apart slowly. Sometimes they build quietly and then collapse all at once. And mine was about to collapse in the middle of a storm by October of my junior year. Something felt off. It's hard to explain, but the air in the house had changed. Everything felt heavier, like the quiet before something breaks. Even Lily had gone unusually silent, which, in hindsight, should have worried me more than her usual crying. Because, with Lily, silence was never peaceful. It meant she was planning something around that time. There was a boy in my chemistry class named Daniel Harper. He was kind, easygoing, and completely lost when it came to balancing chemical equations. We had talked a few times after class, and I had helped him with homework here and there. That was it. Nothing personal. Nothing complicated, just school. One afternoon, he stopped me at my locker. "Hey," he said with a grin. "Thanks again for yesterday. You seriously saved me." I smiled. "It wasn't that bad." He hesitated for a moment, then added, "Maybe we could study together before the midterm." "Sure," I said. Library works. Perfect. It was simple, harmless. But the moment I turned around, I saw Lily standing at the end of the hallway, watching us. Her expression was blank, unreadable, but something about it made my stomach tighten. That night at dinner, she barely spoke. She pushed her food around her plate, quiet in a way that felt unnatural. My mom kept glancing at her, concerned. "Are you okay?" she asked. "I'm fine." Lily muttered, but she wasn't, and I should have known that meant trouble was coming. 2 days later, something unexpected happened. We had a guest speaker in biology class, a university professor named Dr. Eleanor Bennett. She spoke about education systems, opportunity gaps, and how many talented students never get the support they deserve. Most of the class didn't care, but I listened, really listened. After the lecture, I stayed behind and asked her a few questions about her research. She seemed surprised at first, then impressed. "You ask thoughtful questions," she said, handing me a card. "Don't stop doing that." I thanked her and tucked the card into my bag. At the time, it felt like a small moment, just a conversation. I had no idea it would change my entire life. That same week, the storm warnings started by Friday morning. It was all anyone could talk about. News alerts, weather reports, emergency updates, everyone was preparing by evening. The rain had already begun, heavy, relentless. The kind of storm that makes the world feel smaller. We sat down for dinner while my dad's phone buzzed nonstop with warnings. The atmosphere in the house was tense, though no one said why. Lily kept glancing at me. Every time I looked up, she looked away. After dinner, I went upstairs to work on an assignment. The rain slammed against the windows. Wind howled outside. Shaking the glass, I remember thinking, oddly, that at least I was inside. Safe. Around 8 p.m., I heard it crying. Loud, dramatic. Impossible to ignore Lily. I froze at my desk. My mom's voice floated upstairs, soft and concerned. "What's wrong? Talk to me." More crying. Then my dad's voice cut through everything, sharp, angry. "Vera, get down here now." My heart dropped. I walked down slowly, each step heavier than the last. By the time I reached the living room, the scene was already set. Lily curled into my mom's, sobbing, my mom holding her, protective. My dad standing across the room, arms crossed, expression cold, and the moment I stepped in, I knew whatever this was, it was already decided. "What's going on?" I asked quietly. Lily lifted her head. Her eyes were red, full of tears. But for a split second, just a moment, I saw something else behind them. Something cold, something calculated. Then it vanished. "Tell her," my dad said. Lily's voice trembled. "Why do you hate me so much?" The question hit me like a shock. "What?" "I don't. Have you been spreading rumors about me?" she cried. My mind went blank. What rumors? About me and Daniel. About cheating. About me being fake. Each word landed harder than the last. "I didn't say any of that," I said quickly. "I don't even know what you're talking about." "Don't lie," my mom said quietly. That was the moment I felt it. Everything slipping again. "I'm not lying," I said. But my voice didn't sound convincing even to me. Not because it wasn't true, but because I already knew the truth didn't matter here. Lily reached for her phone with shaking hands, playing her role perfectly. Then, "Explain this." She turned the screen toward our parents. I stepped closer, and my stomach dropped. It was a screenshot of a group chat messages, sent from an account with my name, my profile picture. The words were cruel, sharp, humiliating, accusing Lily of cheating, calling her desperate for attention, mocking her feelings for Daniel, things I would never say, things I had never even thought. I didn't write those. I said immediately, "Someone must have used my account." "Stop," my dad snapped. His voice cracked like thunder, louder than the storm outside. "Just stop lying. I'm telling the truth. And Daniel," Lily added softly, as if the thought had just occurred to her. "You knew I liked him," she said, her voice breaking. "But you still went after him." "I didn't go after anyone," I said, trying to keep my voice steady. "He asked me for help with school. That's it. It's not all," she shouted suddenly. "You've been meeting him after class, staying late, laughing with him because we're studying. You're trying to steal him from me?" The room spun. None of this made sense. None of it was real, but it didn't matter. Because she was crying then, she stood up. "And last week," she said, her voice trembling again, she pushed me. Everything went silent. "What?" I whispered. Lily pulled up her sleeve. A dark bruise covered her arm. I never touched you, said, my voice barely audible. You did, she insisted, turning to our parents. I didn't want to say anything before. I thought maybe it was just stress. But she's been getting worse. Worse, like I was some kind of problem. My mom stepped forward slowly. Vera, she said softly, this is serious. I didn't do anything. I said, panic rising in my chest. You have to believe me. Then how do you explain that, Bruce? My dad demanded. I don't know. Maybe she... I stopped, but it was too late. Maybe she... What? He pressed. Maybe she did it herself. I said, the words hung in the air, heavy, sharp, dangerous. Lily's single quotes expression shattered instantly. You think I'd hurt myself just to blame you? She cried. Yes. I snapped before I could stop myself. Because you lie? You've been lying for years. Enough. My dad shouted. The sound made me flinch. He stepped toward me, his face filled with anger I had never seen before. Is this true? He asked Lily, his voice suddenly softer. Has your sister been treating you like this? No, I said quickly. Please, listen to me. I've heard enough, he cut in. My mom shook her head slowly. I thought we raised you better than this. I felt something inside me break. Not loudly, not dramatically, just quietly, like something finally giving up. She's lying, I said again, but my voice was weaker now. No one responded. Lily buried her face in her hands, crying harder than ever. The perfect victim. I looked at her, really looked at her, and for a brief second, she looked back. No tears, no fear, just calm, cold, certain. You're lying. I whispered. I'm not, she replied. I turned to my dad, desperate. Please, I said. You have to believe me. I would never hurt her. I would never do any of this. She's doing it because she's jealous. Stop. His voice was quiet now. Too quiet. You need help, he said. The words hit harder than anything else. What? There's something wrong with you. My chest tightened. I'm not. You are, he said firmly. And I won't allow this behavior in my house. My house, not ours, his. I didn't do anything, I said. But it sounded distant, like it wasn't even my voice anymore. Right now, he continued, pointing toward the door, I need you out of my sight. Thunder crashed outside. Rain slammed against the windows. Dad, I whispered, it's storming. I don't care. The words landed harder than the thunder. Where am I supposed to go? I asked. He didn't hesitate. That's not my problem. It's just like that. Everything ended. For a second, I thought he didn't mean it. That maybe this was just another threat. Another moment of anger that would pass like all the others. So I waited. I looked at my mom, silently asking her to step in, to say something. Anything. She didn't. Her arms stayed wrapped around Lily, like I was the danger, like she was the one who needed protection. My hands were shaking as I reached for my jacket by the door. The zipper kept slipping between my fingers. I couldn't get it to close properly. I don't know why that detail stuck with me. Maybe because it was the last small sign that I still thought I could stay. That someone would stop me. No one did. The door slammed. Behind me, the rain hit. Instantly cold, heavy, unforgiving. Within seconds, I was completely soaked. Water ran down my face, mixing with tears I didn't even remember starting. The wind pushed against me, sharp and relentless, like it wanted me gone just as much as they did. I stood on the porch for a moment, waiting, hoping, maybe, the door would open again. Maybe my dad would come out and say he overreacted. Maybe my mom would call my name. Maybe nothing. though. Door stayed closed, so I stepped off the porch and started walking. I didn't have a plan. I just knew I couldn't stay there. Not anymore. The streetlights flickered through the rain, casting blurred shadows across the pavement. Cars passed by, their headlights slicing through the storm. But none of them slowed down. No one noticed me. Or if they did, they didn't stop. My phone buzzed in my pocket, 0.8% battery. I pulled it out with numb fingers and tried calling the only people I could think of. Hannah, no answer. Claire. Voicemail. Of course, it was Friday night. Everyone was home, safe, warm. I wasn't. I headed toward the public library. It was the closest place I could think of, somewhere dry. Somewhere I could sit and figure out what to do next. But when I got there, the building was dark, closed, locked, like the bus station was 2 miles away. I told myself I could make it. I had to, so I kept walking. With every step, the cold seeped deeper into my body. My shoes were soaked through, squishing with each movement. My jacket clung to my skin like ice. I couldn't feel my fingers anymore. My teeth started chattering uncontrollably. Thunder cracked overhead, loud enough to make me flinch. Lightning lit up the sky for a split second, just long enough to remind me how alone I was. For a moment, I thought about going back, just turning around, knocking on the door, begging, but then I remembered the look on my dad's face, the disgust, the finality. Sick. Daughter. I kept walking. The storm got worse, wind howling louder, rain falling harder, the kind of storm that makes everything feel unreal. I reached an intersection. The light was green. I'm sure it was, but the rain made it hard to see anything. Clearly, everything blurred together. Then, suddenly, headlights, too close, too bright. A horn blared. Tires screeched against wet pavement. I froze, tried to step back, but my body didn't move fast enough. The impact came out of nowhere. Pain exploded through me as I was thrown sideways, my body hitting the hood before crashing onto the ground. The world spun. My head slammed against the pavement. Everything went white. For a moment, I couldn't breathe. Rain poured into my mouth. My eyes, the cold disappeared, replaced by something else, something heavier. Distantly, I heard a car door slam, footsteps rushing toward me, splashing through water. Double quotes, "Oh my God. Oh my God." A woman's voice, panicked, shaking. Hands touched my shoulder. Careful, gentle. "Can you hear me?" she asked. "Stay with me, okay? Don't move." Tried to speak. Nothing came out. "I'm calling for help," she said quickly. "You're going to be okay." I blinked, trying to focus. Her face was blurred by rain, but something about her felt familiar. My parents. I managed to whisper. "Okay," she said urgently. "Tell me their number. I'll call them." I swallowed. It hurt. Everything hurt. "They don't want me," I whispered. She froze. "What?" "They kicked me out." The words felt heavy, like they didn't belong in the world. For a second, she just stared at me. Then something in her expression changed. Not confusion, not panic. Something deeper. "You're not alone," Ree said, her voice steadier now. "Do you hear me? You're not alone." Sirens echoed in the distance, growing louder, closer. Her hand tightened around mine, warm, steady, double quotes. "Stay with me," she said. But everything was already fading. Her voice was the last thing I heard before the darkness took over. When I woke up, The world didn't come back all at once. It returned in fragments, a steady beeping sound, bright lights pressing against my closed eyes, the sharp, sterile smell of a hospital room, and a voice. "She has a concussion," the voice said. Calm, controlled, possibly more. "She needs to be monitored closely." It took me a few seconds to recognize it. The same woman from the road. I tried to open my eyes, but they felt heavy. Everything hurt, even breathing. "I'm not leaving," the woman continued. "Not until she's stable," another voice answered, softer, uncertain. "Are you family?" A brief pause. "No," she replied. "I'm the one who hit her." Silence followed. Then she added, more firmly this time, "But I'm staying." Time blurred after that. I drifted in and out of consciousness, never fully awake, never fully gone. Voices came and went, nurses, doctors, machines, footsteps. But one thing stayed consistent. She was there. Every time I opened my eyes, even just slightly, I could sense her nearby at some point. New voices entered the room, familiar ones, my parents. "Is she going to be okay?" my mom asked. Her voice sounded distant, careful, like she was talking about someone else's child. "Physically, she recover," the woman replied. Her tone had changed, colder now, more controlled. "Mr. and Mrs. Collins. I'm Dr. Eleanor Bennett." There was a pause. "You're a professor, right?" my dad said. "I am," she answered. "And I'm also the one who found your daughter alone in the middle of a storm." Silence, heavy. "She told me something before she lost consciousness," Dr. Bennett continued. "I felt a shift in the room, tension, tightening like a wire. She said her parents didn't want her anymore." No one spoke. "That's not," my mom started, but her voice faded, weak, uncertain, double quotes. "She said you told her she was sick." Dr. Bennett added, the word echoed in the room. The same word my father had used. "Your misunderstanding." My dad said quickly, "There was a situation. A discipline issue. A discipline issue." Dr. Bennett repeated, her voice sharpened. "The kind that involves forcing a 15-year-old out into a storm." "It wasn't like that," my mom said. "Then explain what it was like." Dr. Bennett replied. No one answered. I tried to open my eyes again. Everything was blurry. Shapes moving through light, but I could make out figures. My father standing stiffly, my mother beside him, and behind them Lily. "She's waking up," Dr. Bennett said suddenly. Her tone changed again, firm, protective, double quotes. "Everyone needs to step outside. She's our daughter," my dad began, "and I'm responsible for her care right now." She cut in. "Please leave." There was hesitation, then movement, footsteps, the door closing, silence. A moment later, I felt something warm, a hand holding mine. "You're safe," Dr. Bennett said quietly. Her voice was different now, gentle, certain. "I promise." Safe. The word felt unfamiliar, like something I didn't fully understand. I wanted to believe. Her but trust didn't come easily anymore. My eyes drifted closed again. This time, the darkness felt different, not empty, not cold, just quiet. When I woke up again, it was clearer. The room was brighter. The pain was still there, but duller now, manageable. And she was still there, sitting beside the bed, reading something. Calm. "Present, you're awake," she said, looking up, a small, reassuring smile. "How long?" I managed to ask. 3 days, she answered gently. "You gave us a bit of a scare." 3 days. My life had changed in 3 days. My parents. I started. She paused, then answered carefully. "They came by." That was all she said, and somehow it was enough. because deep down, I already knew. I stayed in the hospital for 4 more days, long enough for the physical injuries to stabilize the concussion, the bruising, the exhaustion that seemed to sit deep in my bones. But healing, I quickly realized, wasn't just physical. Some things take longer. Some things don't fully heal at all. Dr. Bennett visited every single day. Not out of obligation. Not out of guilt, but because she chose to. She brought books, sat beside my bed, and talked to me like I was more than just a patient. We spoke about science, universities, research, things I had